Welcome to paradise. In this video, I'm taking you along on a 3-day luxury escape to Maxx Royal Belek Golf Resort, one of the most iconic, all-inclusive resorts in Antalya, Turkey. As soon as we arrived at Maxx Royal Belek, I was blown away by the grand entrance. The moment those glass doors opened, we stepped into a different world, where elegance meets comfort and luxury hugs you like a warm Turkish towel. Check-in at Maxx Royal Belek was smooth and personalized. They welcomed us with a refreshing drink and a private concierge who walked us through all the resort amenities. That's right, not just a front desk. A real VIP experience. The lobby alone feels like something out of a Bond movie. Sleek marble floors, designer lighting, and an ocean view that instantly tells you, this is going to be special. Our suite at Maxx Royal Belek? Absolutely next level. We stayed in the Lagoon Suite, which had direct pool access from our private terrace. The room was spacious, high-tech, and fully stocked. Think espresso machine, wine bar, jacuzzi tub, and a pillow menu. Yes, a pillow menu. Only at Maxx Royal Belek. After settling in, we took a stroll around the resort. Maxx Royal Belek has multiple swimming pools, a huge private beach, and of course, the famous Montgomery Maxx Royal Golf Course, one of the best in Europe. For lunch, we headed to Azure 24, one of the many gourmet restaurants within Maxx Royal Belek. It's open 24 hours and serves top-tier international cuisine. Whether you're craving sushi, steak, or fresh seafood, the chefs here go all out. Later in the afternoon, we found ourselves at the beachside cabanas. Picture this, a butler brings you fruit platters and cocktails as you lounge on a Bali bed, listening to the waves. Sunset was unreal. We watched the sky go pink while sipping Turkish tea at Maxx Royal Belek's Chocolatier Cafe. Oh, and the handmade chocolates. Heaven. Dinner. Pure theater. We reserved a table at Royal Villa Restaurant, exclusive to villa and suite guests. Freshly grilled lobster, truffle pasta, and live piano music. Trust me, Maxx Royal Belek knows how to impress. As the stars came out, Maxx Royal Belek transformed into a glamorous playground. The Royal Horse Lounge serves signature cocktails with a live DJ spinning soulful deep house music. There's also Maxx Royal's on-site nightclub, for those wanting to dance the night away. And if you're more of a laid-back traveler, the cigar lounge and outdoor cinema are perfect for relaxing. Day 2. Woke up refreshed and ready for more. Day 2 started with a lavish breakfast buffet at the Azure Court Restaurant Street. Fresh fruits, pastries, egg stations, local cheeses, and even champagne if you're in the mood. Then it was time for some activity. And what better way to start than with a round of golf at the world-class Montgomery Maxx Royal Golf Course. Even if you're not a pro, the scenery alone is worth it. The course blends seamlessly with pine forests and lake views. After golf, we headed to the Maxx Royal Belek Spa. This place is a sanctuary. We tried their signature hammam treatment followed by a Balinese massage. All the stress just melted away. Lunch was at Azure Fish, right by the sea. Grilled octopus, sea bass, and meze under a white pergola. The ambience at Maxx Royal Belek makes even the simplest meal feel like fine dining. Water fun and sweet surprises. In the afternoon, we hit the Michelin-star Aqua Park. Yes, Maxx Royal Belek has its own water park with slides for kids and adults alike. Then, a visit to Maxi Bar for smoothies and Turkish ice cream. Stretchy, creamy, and so fun to watch being served. Don't miss the patisserie either. Maxx Royal Belek has a dessert lounge that could rival Parisian cafes, eclairs, macarons, mousse cakes. It's sugar heaven. Sunset yacht and dinner under the stars. On day 2 evening, we took a private sunset yacht tour, arranged by Maxx Royal Belek's concierge service. Cruising the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean as the sun dips below the horizon? Pure bliss. Dinner that night was at Gastro by Alfredo Russo, a Michelin-starred experience. Yes, Maxx Royal Belek brings world cuisine right to your table. Every dish is art, every bite memorable. Day 3. Our final day began with yoga on the beach at sunrise, followed by one last breakfast feast. Then we explored the Maxx Royal Belek boutiques, offering everything from designer brands to Turkish artisan gifts. Perfect place to grab souvenirs or that luxury handbag you've been eyeing. We also visited the kids club, just to see what families experience here. And wow, it's not babysitting. It's a full-on kids' wonderland. Mini disco, science lab, cinema, gaming zones. Maxx Royal Belek really does cater to all ages. One last coffee at the Maxx Royal Belek Lounge, and it was time to check out. So what makes Maxx Royal Belek unforgettable? It's not just the luxury, it's the way Maxx Royal Belek makes you feel. Pampered, relaxed, inspired. From golf and gourmet dining to spa days and seaside sunsets, Maxx Royal Belek Golf Resort is more than a destination, it's an experience. If you're looking for a getaway where every moment counts, where service is personal and memories are made with every sunset, Maxx Royal Belek is where your story should unfold. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more luxury travel guides. And if you've been to Maxx Royal Belek, let me know your favorite part. Until next time, stay adventurous and stay luxe.